I've seen them spar so many rounds at Team GB, and they were, I promise you, they were all.
Pro boxing fans here with Adam Smith. I do want to sort of talk about Daniel Dubois and his performance against Hrgovic. Just give me your thoughts on Daniel Dubois' win over Hrgovic.
I thought it was a brilliant win. I'm so pleased for Daniel. He's had a lot of criticism. He's a young man still, and he's gone through some difficult moments. Joe Joyce and the way that finished, people were questioning him. Alexander Usyk, I thought he did really well against, and again, a little bit of a question mark there from some people. Then he showed loads of courage to go in with the huge Jarrell Miller, and I think Turkey liked that, and they liked him in Saudi, so they were pleased to have him back. The underdog going in, most of us thought Filip Hrgovic would just be too technical, too strong, too good. Was a long time ago in sparring. And Hrgovic we hadn't really seen the best of. I think we all expected a big performance from Filip Hrgovic, but I sort of did say beforehand that when he fought Zhang Hrgovic, he went on a bit of a walkabout. He was just thought under pressure and reminded me of Andrew Galotta when he used to fight. Sometimes he'd be amazing, sometimes he'd just almost walk off into the corner and not want to know. He's a strange animal, Hrgovic. I thought he'd get in with a big jab early, but his hand was down. He was looking for the big right hand, a little bit basic. But Daniel had to weather the storm, and he did. Exciting first sort of 3 or 4 rounds, and then he really got into it. And you could just feel his self-belief coming together. And he was right in the centre ring before the bell rung for the next round. He was right on him. He was chipping away. Excellent tactics from Don Charles and the team. Obviously, there's a great bond there. I've been up to see them a few times, and yeah, it's been brilliant that I think psychologically, mentally, he feels in a much better place. Kieran Farrell also part of the team, and I just think that, Daniel looked so happy afterwards. I know it was his biggest win, but it was the big smile, and he kept chatting in the post-fight interview. It's so unlike him. It was so good to see. I thought it was a great performance. He showed how much he wanted it, and he just sort of broke Hrgovic's resilience. Fabulous, and it catapults him into this huge match with AJ at Wembley, the Battle of Britain. And if they put Hamzah Sheeraz, who I'm sure we'll get on to, but was an absolute star last night for me, Hamzah against Chris Eubank Jr., which is being rumoured, as well as the big one with the heavyweights. What a great night people are going to get at Wembley. So, the Saudis are being clever and not just having everything over here. Riyadh season finishing, they go back to Britain. They've got a big show in America as well. It's intelligent, that, and it means that the British fight fans have got a chance of seeing AJ again, and in a great domestic dust-up, which doesn't happen too often. You think back to Lewis Bruno and those sort of nights, but it's great. They're two really powerful British heavyweights. They've got a big history. I've seen them spar so many rounds at Team GB, and they were, I promise you, they were all pretty terrific, pretty hot stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Dubois will believe that he's this new lease of life, that he can topple AJ back under Ben Davidson's wing, looking really smart and efficient and back to his best. Bring it on, fantastic. But yeah, hats off to Daniel and Don. What a great night for them. And Don Charles is a good guy, and he spent a lot of time in this sport, and I don't think he's properly had the recognition. Yes, he took Derek Chisora out to fight Vitaly Klitschko. He's had these world title challenges, obviously been with Derek Chisora a long time and others, but he wanted to produce a world champion, and I think Daniel Dubois is an amazing story. So I'm really happy for Don. He's got a fantastic setup in Finchley. He's dedicated his life to the sport, and good guy and a good win.
Just do want to talk about the fight one more question in regards to AJ and Dubois. Normally you'd be asking, is it the right time to catch AJ this late on in his career, but it seems like he's got a massive second win. Looks like he's better than ever. For Daniel then, what do you feel like he needs to do going into that fight against a specimen and a former world champion in Anthony Joshua?
Well, he was against a specimen in Filip Hrgovic, maybe not as good as Anthony Joshua, but yeah, Daniel's going to have to come up with a game plan. Remember, Don Charles spent a lot of time with Anthony at the beginning of his career, so they'll have their plans, their ways of doing it. What I like is that Daniel's in a great physical state at the moment, but right here, he's strong and he's maturing, and he's got the backing of Frank Warren, AJ, of course, with Matchroom, and that rivalry maybe will go again if the two of them do meet in September at Wembley. But yeah, I think Daniel will have to think back to those spars. He'll have to think of where he can get to Joshua. But AJ does look really good now. Beautifully executing his jab, which I think is his powerful weapon. So Daniel's going to have to find a way of dealing with that. But it's a really good fight, and I think that Joshua has only beaten really sort of Otto Wallin and Francis Ngannou. If you look at it like that, the way he did it, perfect. The manner of victory, massively impressive. But it wasn't a Daniel Dubois or a Tyson Fury or an Alexander Usyk in front of him. It was Otto Wallin, all due respect, good fighter, but not in that class. And Francis Ngannou, who's having his second professional boxing fight. So as brilliant as AJ looked, and as great as that tie-up with Ben Davison is, I think it's a really impressive one. He's had some great trainers over the years, AJ, particularly obviously Robert McCracken, but he's going back into that sort of mould. I think it just makes for a really exciting fight, whichever way. And we know Daniel Dubois, has shown guts, courage, a will to win, and it's going to be a really fascinating one, and both of them are going to have to be in tip-top shape mentally and physically, and I'm sure they will be.
Just a final one for myself, and a shout out to Hamzah Sheeraz with a great performance, and Willie Hutchinson and Nick Bold, who's a new world champion. I do want to talk about Turki Al-Sheikh, who did an interview with DAZN, which has played out to all the fans in the arena, and some of the propositions he put out in regards to future fights. One of them, he made an announcement in regards to Beterbiev and Bivol in October. We know December 21st is Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk 2. Canelo Crawford is another one he's looking for next year. What do you make of this vision that Turki's got and the plans he's got for the future? It seems like, from what he's saying, that he's not just here for the short term, he's here for the long run.
It's not stopping. I think he wants to, and has already, turned boxing on its head, but I think he wants to go even further and really try and sort of take control and make sure that we get these continually good big fights that the fans crave. I think the great thing about this, and of course, we first came to Saudi, we did at Sky in 2019. It was a very different place for AJ and Ruiz. A lot of change has gone on in those few years since, which is a good change, and I think the country is moving in the right direction. Obviously, hugely getting involved in sport and entertainment, and for boxing, fighters go where the money is, they go where the play is. It's been in America before, it's been in Britain for those golden years really with Sky and Eddie, and then in Germany with the Klitschko's. We've had a fantastic time there. So there's pockets of the world that it goes to. Now it's in Saudi, and it's brilliant, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the trips I've had here. I think more and more, but what I've learned is that Turkey is a boxing fan. First and foremost, not just the fact that he wants to bring all this to Saudi and bring the entertainment, sport and people to his country, but he loves fights and he loves fighters, and I think that's plain to see. He's become more involved, really, doing the interviews with DAZN, in the ring with Dimitri Bivol and his children. He's getting the talk sport people out here. He's the team, which was fantastic to see. Jim White coming out, Spencer Oliver. I know they met with Turkey yesterday too. I think True Geordie coming as well. I think they're looking at different angles, obviously to promote the shows, but I think the boxing vision remains. Crawford Canelo, the Beterbiev and Bivol fight, the rematch for December 21st, August, September, away from Saudi. But it's all huge events. But it's not just the main fight. He's putting on these fantastic fights on the card. I mean, even in the Usyk Fury card, you had the Antika Katcher, Joe Cordina, Jaya Pataya, who I spent time with last night in that rematch with Bradis. These are all cracking fights. This time around, it was going to be the undisputed light heavyweight title fight. But even so, you got a replacement who was unbeaten, came in at short notice and did his best. He's going to be invited back because he did that. I think it's great. I think it's really good that he's engaging with the fans. There was lots of pictures with him with different people around the boxing community and even fans last night. I think he's enjoying this, and while he's enjoying it, they say, don't they, that a happy fighter makes a dangerous fighter. And he's happy, so it makes him not dangerous, but very, very passionate, and he wants to be all in with this. That's the message, and I think it's just terrific. As I said, the fighters are getting, life-changing money, unbelievable, and the fans are getting these dream fights. I mean, you think, okay, you talk about AJ Dubois, like, okay, that's just going to be made. That's just in September. I mean, normally these fights with the AJ Wilder situation and Fury and AJ, back and forth, years to make, it's just all changed. He's doing it like that, and of course, there have been the criticisms and the difficulties, and we know about what Simon Jordan said, but he's come to them and said, right, come out, experience it for yourself. Simon couldn't make it, though he's going to come back and see them in the studio when he comes to London for the press conference. It's great, this open discussion, this debate, but I think it's wonderful what they've done, the Saudis here. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Last night was brilliant. Great for giving Nick Ball a shout out, and Ray Ford. That was a fabulous fight. I'd see that one again. Willie Hutchinson showed his amateur skills again, didn't he, by switching orthodox southpaw and outboxing Craig Richards in a great fight. Hamzah Sheeraz, star of the show for me. I think he's a brilliant guy out of the ring. I think he's terrific inside it. I saw him a long time ago and I thought that guy is going to be a world champion. I believe he will be, and I thought that was just the next stepping stone. He dealt with the crisis in the second round very coolly. That's what good fighters do. He's not a great fighter yet, but I think he can be. And I love the fight with Chris Eubank Jr. At Wembley as a sort of hors d'oeuvre to the big one. I think they're talking about Inoue as well. Throw him on. It's dreamlike, isn't it? I mean, you sort of wake up and think it's a bit of a dream seeing Eddie and Frank even together. I still got to sort of pinch myself that that's happening, but yes, I mean, you've got to ride with it with boxing. There's always been hot spots, but this is the new times, and I think we're getting great shows, and it's just terrific to have been out here.
Cool. Adam Smith, always a pleasure seeing you. Safe travels in a couple of hours on your flight, and we'll catch up with you in the UK, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Safe trip home.